Fujifilm, we need to talk. Hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech. Before I begin, I want to say that I am not speaking to any specific individual or department, but rather Fujifilm as a company. Much of what I'm about to say comes through feedback from my audience. They are, in a sense, speaking through me to Fujifilm as a whole. The main reason that I have made hundreds of Fujifilm videos over the past 7 years is very simple. I love using your cameras, and I love teaching my audience how to use your cameras. I receive hundreds, if not thousands, of comments, messages, and emails from Fujifilm users, and they tell me what they think about your cameras, and they tell me how they feel about the direction that Fujifilm is headed. In the beginning, during the first half of this channel's existence, there was a different vibe, and I felt it from my audience. The X-T3 had just come out. The collective mood throughout this channel's feedback was positive. It was happy, and I could feel the excitement from each and every one of my audience members. And then things did start to change. When the X-T4 came out, with its little flippy screen, it didn't seem to know exactly what it was. Was it a great stills camera? Was it a great video camera? And then the X-T5 came out, which was photography first, which I also purchased and loved. But as the years went by, firmware updates with significant features started slowing down, or they stopped altogether. A fix of minor bugs became the most used phrase on your firmware download page. And some of your firmware updates, let's just say, didn't always play well with autofocus, okay? Now, some issues were addressed, but during the past year or two, my audience's feeling and, more importantly, their perception toward your cameras and your company, it started to change. And I have noticed that this change I'm talking about has been significant. Let me give you a quick visual to show you the change that I'm talking about. It went from this to this. Everybody hurts. Okay, so this is a cavity. It's very small. It's not a big deal. But if it's left untreated, it will turn into a root canal. So based on the overall mood that I'm getting from increasing members of my audience, here's what I think that you need to do. First, aggressively continue to improve your autofocus. I didn't say fix your autofocus because I personally believe that your autofocus, for the most part, does work, but it needs to work much better to compete with other brands. It needs to be absolute top level. Here's the thing. Fujifilm users are going to be a lot happier if they know that Fujifilm is aggressively devoting resources toward improving autofocus in their core cameras, such as the XT, XH, and GFX models. And I am sure that you probably already are, but hear me out. Fujifilm users see that you're continuing to release new and different, and I would argue, segmented camera models like the X-Half, for example. If all they're hearing is X-Half this, or new Instax that, Insta Talkbook Threads a gram, new 15-second vertical video, where is an X Pro 4? Are we going to see an X-T6? What about some new lens for the GFX? The perception that they are left with is that you are leaving your core photography users behind. They need to really get and really believe that you're serious about improving autofocus as well as paying more attention to your core cameras. Second, more firmware updates for older cameras such as the X-T3 and so forth. These need to be released more often. Of course, I get that many of your newer features, such as subject detection, won't work on those cameras. But even if you added things like improved menu fixes or some less processor-intensive features, anything that you could add or improve would go a long way toward those users feeling like they haven't been forgotten. You remember Kaizen from a number of years ago? Well, just go back to doing that as a start. I love Fujifilm cameras. I love your film simulations. I enjoy the design and the feel of many of your cameras. And most importantly, I consider myself very lucky to have been able to meet and to get to know Fujifilm representatives and employees who are among the nicest people that I've ever met. And that, really, when you get right down to it, is why I made this video, because I care a lot about the cameras you make, and so does my audience. They care a lot. Fujifilm-san, Sonke ishite imasu. Gosei icho arigatou gozaimashita.